Hey, how are those simpler recipe videos treating you?
A lot better, actually. I'm able to save a lot of time and not put so much mental load into each one.
And what about views, monetary wise?
That's pretty trash. Everything's down right now.
How does that make you feel?
Not terrible. I mean, I'm doing it the way I enjoy doing it, and that's all that matters.
Really? So you're okay knowing that the way that you enjoy doing stuff is directly inverse to what people enjoy watching?
How do you know what inverse means?
That doesn't make you question your self-worth?
Not until now. Thanks.
See, look, you even got cats to cope. Cope harder, bro.
Pretty much everyone on the planet knows what tacos al pastor is, one of the greatest developments in the culinary world and arguably the greatest food country in the world. And I'm a fan of sheet pan nachos as I make them every so often, so I decided to combine the two. It's not a new idea by any means. I know a lot of people have done this already, but this is my version. Sheet pan nachos are great using leftover roasted meat or brisket or something like that. But if I'm making things from scratch, then of course I'm just going to use ground meat. Into a pan over medium heat, I'm adding a pound of that and letting it sear on one side. After a few minutes, I can start to break it up into little pieces and get browning all around them. As I always say with ground meat, if there's enough fat content, you don't just want to take these to the point to where they're not pink anymore. That will get them cooked through, but you're missing out on a lot of Maillard flavor. That is the browning and caramelization on the outside. So I say after you stop seeing pink to keep stirring this for a few more minutes until you see some nice browning around the edges, just not burning. Mine started to make some fond which adhered to the bottom, so once that was about to burn, I could add in my flavoring. And yes, this pork wasn't seasoned at all yet because I put all that into this al pastor style marinade to be added. This will carry the strongest flavor among all the nachos, so it's super important. I'm starting with a few dried chiles. I have 3 chiles guajillos, 1 chile ancho, and 2 chiles de árbol. I'm just snipping off the stem of each one and squeezing out all the seeds because we don't need those. At that point, I'm getting these into a bowl and covering them with some boiling water. That's going to rehydrate them and allow them to blend up nicer and be more flavorful in the marinade. Those only need about 5 minutes to reconstitute, so I'm just going to get my blender ready. I'll add those chiles without the water. Then a half cup of pineapple juice. Al pastor tacos are really famous for the pineapples that are served with them. A quarter cup of apple cider vinegar. And then I have a half of a white onion that I've chopped up roughly, as well as 3 cloves of garlic that I've done the same to. Then I'll finish up with some spices and seasonings. I have about a teaspoon of Mexican oregano, a half teaspoon each of ground cumin and smoked paprika. I have 2 cloves that I'm going to add in, and then a small handful, maybe a half teaspoon of this achiote. This is used in marinades for al pastor tacos. It gives them a nice earthy flavor, but more importantly, it gives them a nice red color, which is what they're signature for. And lastly, some salt and pepper to taste, which we can adjust in the cooked pork. I just blend that for about 30 seconds until it's pretty uniform. I made mine the night before, so I stored it in a container, but you could just pour it directly over the cooked pork if you're making it immediately. Once that pork is nicely darkened, we can add in that marinade, or more accurately, a sauce. That should help you to break up the fond on the bottom with the liquid that's inside of it. We just need to stir it to adhere it evenly around the pork, and we want to reduce it a bit so it sticks better. So I gave that like 5 more minutes of stirring before I took it off heat. Remember to adjust salt and pepper to your taste afterwards. And this is a very appealing ground pork that could be versatile in a lot of dishes. It's not quite as good as traditional al pastor meat because that's marinated overnight in its whole pork, but this is still very formidable and it's going to work well with our nachos. And speaking of the nachos, it's most common to use store-bought tortilla chips to make these, but I beg you to try frying your own at least once. You don't even have to make your own tortillas. I think frying store-bought tortillas is perfectly fine. The final product is so much better, I promise. Do this in any application and you'll love it. So I have 15 of these store-bought corn tortillas. I'm going to pretend my camera was recording and I'm going to cut these in 3 ways to make 6 slices in each one. I think that's the perfect size triangle for nachos like this. Then I just need a pan of neutral oil that's heated to between 325 and 350 Fahrenheit. I did this in about 6 batches or 1 stack of triangles per batch. Just toss those into the oil and I use this spider to keep them separate. I want to pull these when they're just golden before they start to brown. About a minute and a half in, you'll start to see the browning around the edges, and that's when you want to pull it. I'd err on the side of undercooking these because they're going to bake in the oven for additional cooking, and they will brown very fast and also carry over cook after you pull them out of the oil, which I'm just putting them onto a wire rack over some foil so they stay crispy. And very important with pretty much anything fried, you should salt them immediately after they come out when they're still wet from the oil. This is the step that takes them from good to great and separates them from the store-bought tortilla chips. Okay, once that's all done, we can start to assemble the nachos, and I'm just using a half sheet pan for this amount. I like my nachos to be stacked more horizontally than vertically. I feel like you end up with less naked chips that way. So I'm scattering an even layer of chips on the bottom, followed by half of the pork mixture. And then I'm coming in with about a cup or 4 ounces of Monterey Jack cheese. I think all nachos need a queso sauce as opposed to shredded cheese, which I'm going to add later, but I'm just adding some of the shredded cheese as addition. Of course, I'm shredding this myself because pre-shredded cheese is way worse when you're trying to melt it in the oven. Then I'm repeating with the rest of the chips, the rest of the pork mixture, and another 4 ounces or 1 cup of Monterey Jack cheese. This is going to go into a preheated 350-degree oven for about 10 minutes just so the cheese melts. I also forgot to film that I sliced up a jalapeno very thin and added this to the top before putting it into the oven. But while that's in the oven, we can make the queso sauce that I was talking about. I just think a ballpark style cheese sauce is necessary for any kind of nachos, so I always make it. You could alternatively buy the can of Rico's nacho cheese, which I do often and I think it's really good. But here's how I'm going to make this. Into a sauce pot over medium heat, I'm adding about a cup of evaporated milk. I just need that to barely simmer and bubble before I move on to the next step. Obviously, I stepped away for too long and this started bubbling too much and it scorched on the bottom. Oh well. At this point, I'm going to start adding 2 cups of sharp cheddar cheese that I've shredded myself. That's about 8 ounces or a half pound by the way, just adding a little bit at a time and mixing it in so it melts. I'm also alternating by adding in 6 slices of American cheese, just tearing it into pieces and doing a little bit at a time so it melts evenly. I've said anytime I've made macaroni and cheese, I avoid making roux style cheese sauces. It's always grainy in my opinion, and I always prefer to use evaporated milk and American cheese. I think it comes out better. But once you've got all your cheeses in and it's all melted, we can start to season this. I'm starting with a tablespoon of cholula, or you could use your hot sauce of choice, a teaspoon of dry yellow mustard, and a half teaspoon each of garlic powder and onion powder, a half teaspoon of cumin, and a half teaspoon of chipotle chili powder, and finally just a tiny pinch of gochugaru for a little bit more spice and color. I'm mixing that around and letting it reduce a bit till it's very thick. Just keep in mind that this will thicken very fast once you take it off heat. You can always add more evaporated milk to thin it out a bit, but this was thinner than I wanted it when I took it off heat, but it ended up being too thick when I was trying to pour it over the nachos. Keep that in mind. Once those nachos come out of the oven, the cheese should be melted and we can start to pour over that queso sauce. Pretty luxurious, and again, I think all nachos require this. To finish up the toppings while this is still warm, I'm going to add some chunks of pineapple, of course. You need those to resemble the tacos. You could cut some up yourself, but I'm just using canned. I think it's fine. Then I have a little bit of fresh red onion that I've diced up pretty fine. Another handful of chopped cilantro. Then I have an avocado that I've cut up into chunks and I'm putting that over. You could make a guacamole here. I was just a bit lazy and I think there's enough going on anyway. Then I like a few dollops of sour cream, but I actually didn't have any, so I'm just using some yogurt. As long as it's plain and not vanilla flavored, I think they're very comparable in flavor. Tossing some lime wedges on for garnish, and then finally some cotija cheese. As if shredded cheese and cheese sauce weren't enough, here's some powdered cheese. I think this looks incredible. You could customize this however you wanted. Sheet pan nachos are very, very good and they're a very deep comfort food. I always enjoy whenever I make time to make them. They're not healthy by any means, but it's okay to treat ourselves every once in a while. Let's get on to the taste test.
This is a treat. This is something I've wanted to make for a little bit of time now. I don't have the best diet, but I don't eat like this all the time at least. Sometimes you're just craving it, you know? Get some extra cholula on this. Some lime juice as well. All right, I'm gonna attempt to get most things on a bite. Cheers. Yeah, this is what I wanted. I was afraid that the Al Pastor marinade or sauce wasn't gonna come through with all the other ingredients in this, but I think it's so strong that it still stands as the cornerstone of this recipe. I mean, the liquid queso was probably unnecessary, but I just needed to get it for the slow-mo shot, and I love the taste of it anyway. Yeah. All of that works so well together. I've done many sheet pan nachos in the past, some more simple and some more complex. It's a great way to use leftover meats of any kind. Brisket or steak comes to mind. But this is a nice shortcut as well with the ground pork, but you really wouldn't even go wrong with ground beef and store-bought taco seasoning, which tons of people do. But I'm thoroughly enjoying this. This would be a great idea to make for some kind of gathering. I might be doing that for the next one I have. But let me know if you have any thoughts or opinions. I hope you like something like this. That's gonna do it for me today. Thank you all for watching. Be blessed, and I'll see you next time. The only non-negotiable step here is frying the chips yourself.